Go further and further and further into debt, and it's going to be like this over there in Portugal, in Spain, in Ireland. It's going to be how it is over there, where people are fighting and going after government officials because of the austerity, because they're going to be cutting those programs out that would normally sit up there to help people. All those programs are going to be gone to try to balance the budget, so they can pay their tab to the bankers, so they can make that payment to the bank. So in order for them to make that payment, or to be able to borrow that money, for them to borrow that money, they got to cut things. That's called austerity. Go ahead, brother.
Proverbs 22:7. The rich ruleth over the poor.
Wait a minute. The scriptures say the rich ruleth over the poor. Isn't that what they kept arguing about in the debate? About the special interests of the super rich, having all these tax loopholes, and then putting the tax burden on the poor people, the person like me and you, and even the middle class. You can't be considered middle class unless you're making over, you got to be making over $66,000 a year to be considered middle class. If you make under 60 G's, you're considered poor. Right? So, if you're in the poor class, the government each week is going to tax you for about maybe 25% of your check every week. But the super rich, they don't get taxed 25%. They get a tax break. They might get taxed 15, 12, or 10%. But you got to pay 25%. And now they want to make the middle class pay more money, but still set up those loopholes for the super rich to escape through. Read that again.
The rich ruleth over the poor.
The rich ruleth over the poor. Isn't that what's going on? In order for you to run for president, to show you it's a monkey show, if you don't generate something like, I think it's like $2 million a day in contributions, you can't run. That's one of the stipulations of running for president. So if you don't get them donations and a certain amount of money, you can't run. So you only got the power to select whoever they have on the ballot, which is somebody that's inside their pocket already anyway. You only have the right to select who's on the ballot. Your so-called vote is only a suggestion anyway, because the Electoral College votes who the president's going to be. Your vote is a suggestion. That's all it is. It's a suggestion. That's all. We have the illusion that we really mean something. We don't mean nothing. It's all about, read that scripture again.
The rich ruleth over the poor.
The rich ruleth over the poor. Go ahead.
And the borrower is servant to the lender.
And the borrower is servant to the lender. So like I said before, when you get a loan, you are now a slave to the person that gave you the loan. So that's why I said about the loan that they got from the international bankers, the collateral is the people. We're the servants of the lender. So that's why we're on the hook to pay back the loan. Like the scripture said, the borrower is servant. What's a servant? A slave to the lender. The lender is the master, you the borrower or the slave. So it's a master-slave relationship. The borrower is servant to the lender. Go ahead, read it again. The rich ruleth, read it from there.
The rich, Proverbs 22:7. The rich ruleth over the poor.
The rich ruleth over the poor. That's what's going on. Go ahead.
And the borrower is servant to the lender.
And the borrower is servant to the lender. That's called control. The more debt you accumulate, the more control that they have. That's why there's something called the IMF, which is called the International Monetary Fund. That's controlled basically by the United States. So what they do is, a third world country that needs money, the IMF says, okay, you need about $100 billion, right? Okay, we'll give you $100 billion. You got to pay us back 13% interest. on that $100 billion. But if any of the people in your country need a loan, your banks have to charge them 23 or maybe 33% interest on the money your banks loan them that we loan to you. If not, you cannot loan them that money. The scripture said the borrower is servant to the lender. That's why Jamaica is in the catastrophe that it's in right now. When they borrowed money from the International Monetary Fund. After Britain left Jamaica alone to itself, then the IMF came in and gave them loans, and that's why Jamaica is in the state that it's in right now. All of them different islands and third world countries. Because now they borrowed this money, now it comes time to pay the money back. They don't got the money. Well, look, we can't pay you back. They said, okay, you can't pay us back the $100 billion that you owe us, but you need another $100 billion now. So we'll give you another $100 billion, but this time, now we want this guy to be in office. We want this special interest group to go over there and set up a business over there in your country now. We want this puppet leader to be in office. We want this guy to be vice president. We want this guy to control the power company over there in your country if you want this money. That's how they get them. Read that again. The borrower is what?
The borrower is servant to the lender.
The borrower is servant to the lender. The more that they give you, the more control that they assume over you now. What can you do? They're like, okay, just pay me my money. Can't pay them the money. You got to do what the hell they tell you to do. That's the game. The servant is, the borrower is servant to the lender. So once you start taking that money, you got to do what they say. Go ahead.
Like you said, they lend to them and they can't pay them
Say it out. Say it out.
Like how you mentioned now, well, they lend to them and they can't pay them back. Well, here's another scripture. Proverbs 22 and 27. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee?
Right. If thou hast nothing to pay, right? If you ain't got no money to pay them, if the scripture say, why should they take your bed from under you? They did that to Red Fox, didn't they? Red Fox ain't have no money to pay him, so they what? They took his Model Ts, they took the rings off his fingers. They took his bed, they took his house. Right from under his ass. He died shortly after that. Sammy Davis, a broken heart. Like Elder Tar said, Red Fox died from a broken heart. Sammy Davis Jr., who been performing for over 60 years in show business, when he died, his widow had to go on welfare. Didn't have a dime to his name. Died penniless. Joe Louis took everything. He had one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. He was champion for almost 12 years. All those actors was around. He won over 26 successful title defenses when he was on top. Nobody's reached that yet. 26 straight championship fights he won. Over 11 years and 6 months. Might as well say 12 years. He was the Brown Bomber. He defeated Max Schmeling the second time they fought. He defeated Hitler's so-called super Aryan race by destroying Max Schmeling when they had that fight. Joe Louis died penniless. Joe Louis, when he joined the military, he gave the military like 50 G's to help with the soldiers, to feed the soldiers and help the soldiers. The government charged him interest. They charged him taxes on that money that he gave to the government. Joe Louis, after he couldn't box anymore, he was going and performing. He was performing vaudeville shows or performing shows, you know, wearing a tux and tap dancing and all that. The IRS would bum rush the ticket box, Ticketmaster, and take his cut for that night. The IRS agents would come and bum rush the ticket center. What is Joe Louis getting paid tonight? And take his money and leave. The IRS. Joe Louis was a patriotic Negro. Where did that get him? No damn where.
The only person that took care of him when he was broke was Frank Sinatra, man. Frank Sinatra had to deal with one, I don't know if it was Coca-Cola or one of the major companies, and they used to just send Frank Sinatra money off of royalties, and you know what he used to say? He said, take my check and just pass it to Joe, man. See, back on all them different times when Jake was catching hell, all those other Jakes that made it, they didn't help him, man. Going back to Red, because I'm listening to what he's saying, I'm getting mad. Because I was around when Red Fox was getting screwed over by the IRS, man. It was shortly after, a couple of years after he made that movie Harlem Nights. And Eddie Murphy gave him $500,000, man. And you know what? He didn't pay taxes on it. So the IRS caught up with his ass because they knew, wait, you just made a movie, you know? And he was about to do this sitcom with Della Reese. So the money was already guaranteed because you know that sitcom was going to be a success. Anytime you get Jake do a sitcom, it's always going to make money. Yep. It'll be an ongoing, so the money was going to roll in, man.
That's right.
But that shows you how the IRS is. And then people always say, call your congressman, right? The Congress was the one that set up. That's a creature of IRS is a creature of Congress, man. So this whole country is fucked up. How many of y'all voted for Barack Obama? Raise your hand. Nobody voted for Barack Obama?
You know y'all.
Nobody voted for Barack Obama?
People were singing and dancing.
Well, y'all have woke up. That's good, you know? But anyway, Barack Obama, he gonna put hell on Jake. He gonna put hell on Esau. He gonna put hell on everybody. The horns is gonna come out on this damn devil, man. The horns are gonna come out on this guy. He was set up. He was set up to put hell on you, man.
By who?
Because he's set up by who? By the international bankers.
Illuminati?
By the Rothschilds, by the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. Because you know there's a government, a shadow government behind.
Secret society?
Of course. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
So what do you know about it?
They rule the world.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. So if they wanted Romney to get up in there, was Romney gonna get up in there?
Yep.
No, if they wanted Romney to get up there, it had nothing to do with the vote. Your vote didn't count.
Electoral college is corrupt. It means
Of course, it's a game. But the masses of the people don't know.
We shouldn't know. We're not supposed to know.
Yeah, but you know what? If you go on YouTube, you know, if you go on the web, if you put in the word Google, all you got to do is put in the word Google secret societies, and it's going to lead you right to the Rothschilds, to Adam Weishaupt, who set it up.
Barrier Germany.
But our people, the American people, are the stupidest people on the planet, man.
Ignorant.
Not ignorant, they're stupid. They're stupid.
Yes.
Because ignorant means to not know. But the information is out there, so there's no excuse for you not to freaking know.
But is the information liable?
Huh?
Is the information liable? Personal lies.
Well, that's why you got to check it out. You got to filter it. That's why the Most High gave you a brain. You see? Give me Psalms the 10th chapter, and Psalms the 10th chapter and the 3rd verse.
Psalms chapter 10, verse 3. It says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and
Stop right there. The wicked boasts of his heart's desire. What does that mean? You got some of these these Edomites out here, like Warren Buffett. This guy's worth $60 billion. Now, if he's on the low level, he's a low-level devil. That's why he's bragging about it. The super rich, you don't know who the super rich are. Name me one of the richest families on the planet. The Rothschilds. And the Oppenheimers, they had money before the Rothschilds came on the scene.
Their money
The Oppenheimers, they got old money. All right? Go ahead, Op.
It says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the
So
coast.
who's the wicked now? Who's the wicked? The so-called white man. The white man is the wicked. Hey, you can go to any society, right? You can go back to the Egyptians. The Egyptian empire, The Egyptians allowed us